So I decided to jump on a plane and I went to Greece, specifically Chora, Greece, which is where my family is from. The reason for my trip was that my grandmother was sick, so it wasn't just like a random type of trip, but I decided to kind of take a little bit of a video blog about the village that my family is from, which is called Anahuara. And specifically, we're going to visit the old grain mill that exists in the village. It was built in 1729, and it is really cool. So my father is in the process of kind of doing a little bit of a restoration to it, and he's really proud about it. He's really like excited to go. In fact, he just left for Greece himself, and he's going to be there until November to hopefully get this grain mill, like I guess, restored or whatever. The trip up to the village is actually pretty cool. It's a pretty interesting drive. It's 1 kilometer up, and you do get to see the random wildlife every once in a while. That's actually not a wild donkey. That's probably somebody's donkey, but he's pretty cool. I don't know. He was just chilling in the middle of the road, so we had to drive around him. The nice thing about the village is that as you get higher up the mountain, the regular trees kind of go away and you get into like where the evergreens grow. And evidently it snowed quite a bit in the village before we got there. And they got like 3.5 feet of snow the weekend before we came there, and it was starting to melt. The village is actually super cool. It's definitely worth the trip. If you want to know exactly how a real Greek lives, this is really the place to visit. They do have a hotel in this village, and it's very popular in the summer months, but it's really popular amongst Greeks and not amongst tourists. The city of Nafbaktos, which is where the kind of the main town is that is closest to this village, is about 3 hours away from Athens, and then the village is another hour up the mountain from Nafbaktos. So it's definitely not a quick trip, but I could assure you it's worth it. The food's pretty good too. This is one of the few places that you could get kokoretsi, which is what you're seeing in the video there. Another great thing is the village salad, which basically has a pound of cheese on it. The french fries are all hand cut, and the goat stew is amazing. As you can see, the food is definitely plentiful and downright inexpensive. I don't know if I'd visit it in the wintertime if I were you. It's kind of treacherous to get around in the snow. The place is pretty vertical, so everywhere you go is like basically walking up and down steps. But boy, look at the view. Breathtaking. On the main road, you could see the original bus that used to go up and down from Nafbaktos to the villages. And it's a pretty sketchy old bus, and it used to go every day. So the village used to be a really kind of hopping place to be. It has since like kind of withered down, and now it's a little bit more of like a weekend place where people go, although people do still live there. In the wintertime, your main source of heat is the fireplace, and your main food is sausage. I ate sausage almost every day of the week. It's kind of gross, I know, but that's just kind of what's there and what's available to you. And don't be afraid if the merchant of whatever coffee shop or tavern that you visit cooks your sausage in the fireplace where you're keeping warm at the same time. It's kind of cool. It's very authentic, that's for sure. Anyways, let's go to the main attraction of this video, which is the watermill. It's a little bit down the mountain a little bit, and it's just like basically a hut that has like water going through it, and then it turns like a green stone. I don't know. You'll see it in the video. The funny thing is that I was told that my grandmother was actually the last person to use this for its intended purpose, like way back in the day, and then it was just basically never used since. Anyways, enjoy this little video, and stay tuned for the next one. I got a little bit more video from my trip, and I'll be uploading them as the days continue.
So here we're at the mill. So this is kind of a natural spring that they kind of redirected a little bit. And so this is the actual mill. And so the idea is that water came off of, they redirected some water off of the stream, and it went down that funnel and it operated a windmill. The only thing I wanted to show you guys about the outside, it's kind of cool, is, oh geez, wow, it's very uneven terrain. This is the cornerstone, I guess you would call it. And let's see if I could, that didn't help. I probably made things worse, but it's 1729. So this mill was erected in 1729, and it's been here basically ever since. It was in pretty much disrepair, and then my father actually decided to take it on as a little bit of a restoration project. And so he had like some things repaired on it. I think he had the roof fixed, and then they tuck pointed the stones again, and so now it's pretty sturdy. And so the water actually exits from this cavern that they built that comes underneath the thing, and then it just flows right back into the stream of where it came from. So let's go take a look inside. Oh, guys, it's cold. So in here, this is where they came and dropped off the actual corn for it to get milled, and they weighed it on this scale, at which point the mill person came and dropped it into this hopper, and it went down into the funnel and basically came down this chute into the middle of the stone, and this stone would turn around and round, and eventually it would spit out the cornmeal, like, you know, there's a demonstration of what it would be like, into this bin. This little lever is for adjusting the coarseness, so you could raise or lower the stone based on how fine or coarse that you wanted your cornmeal to be. And then hanging on the walls, they just have some old, these are corn sacks. This is actually kind of like it's like a portable table that people use to knead dough. So it looks like somebody used it as a cutting board at some point in life. And you just have like a corn sifter, that's a kettle top thing for making cornbread. And these are pretty cool. These are like the original shutters to the house. So just to give you an idea of how old they are, they've definitely seen better days. These are probably not completely original to the building. They might have been replaced at some point in life because they're, I don't know. I don't think that an outdoor shutter could survive for so many years. Here, this is like the old water funnel that kind of rotted away, and it kind of went from here into this metal guy, and it created a pretty good like jet stream of water that got the mill going pretty well. They have a little fireplace here so they could mill in the wintertime and not freeze to death like we are. And then over here is where they put the finished product, and the ladies would just come back when it's done to pick up their finished meal. And then you have, I think these are old doors. These are the exterior doors for the, probably for the main door. And that's it, guys. So it's like kind of turned into another little bit of a museum. This is my dad's like pet project. And he's been working on the mill part basically all last summer, and he can't stop talking about it. He's pretty excited about getting it going. So hopefully this summer, once the weather breaks, he'll be able to get it wrapped up and maybe actually put this thing, maybe not into service, but, you know, give it a test run and see if it still does what it's supposed to do. All of this stuff is completely handmade. And so in order to like restore it properly, you basically have to make everything from hand again, and it's kind of difficult. So there are a few things that he cheated on, like this container box was rotted out, so he made it out of regular ply, like, you know, wood, store-bought wood. Because my dad's 72 years old, he can't be shaping like timbers anymore. He's not a spring chicken. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it.